Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Still no Aaron effing Rodgers. Welcome back. Welcome back to the show, everybody. This is our midweek
Yes.
installment to the Two Dumb Yinzers. This is episode 719. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, my man?
Oh, what up, man? Happy to be back, man. Had a nice little day off yesterday. Ready to get back to the grind. Ready to get back to
You had the
it.
day off, had a little extra time to focus on Pirates baseball. A lot of great baseball being played by that team from Pittsburgh once again. But first of all, Mike, I do want to say to everybody, Happy New Year. This is originally from the Julian calendar. Yesterday was the New Year. And in the 1500s,
Ooh.
King Gregory changed the calendar to the Gregorian calendar, which made January 1st the New Year. So back in the day, even though it was widely known that the New Year was going to be January 1st, still there was a lot of people who all their life has only known April 1st as New Year. So they still continued to call the day New Year's. So as the rest of society moved along, they started to make fun of the April 1st New Year people. And after a while, they began to call them April Fools because they stuck with the old Julian calendar and still said Happy New Year's on April 1st instead of making the change. So I just want to say to everybody, any way you slice it, it's a Happy New Year. If it was January 1st or yesterday, we are in 2025. Any way you slice it. So Happy New Year. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to the show.
Woo.
Just a quick observation. I still notice in Mike's window, there's only one dummy in the window. Mike, where has your twin been? Your better half?
He's been out. He was hitting the scouting trail. He was following along on the pro days, getting some good scouting intel. He just made it back into the office. We just banged out the mock draft, the only intel he gave me, what he thinks the Steelers need, and what he saw out there, and listening to some experts, either be it for former scouts or former quarterbacks of the team. He was coming in with some good intel. So we sat down, hashed out a mock draft today. You know, it's up on the site. Breaking news: the mock draft is up on the site. And the dummy told me
Hmm.
that Aaron Rodgers is a done deal. It's a handshake agreement. Nothing's permanent until pen hits paper, ink bleeds into the paper. But told me we're going through with this like Aaron Rodgers is our guy.
Well,
Who am I to
it
argue with
kind
the
of is
dummy?
conflicting. Now, as of yesterday, it was looking really good because, of course,
Yeah.
Monday or over the weekend or Monday, whatever it was, they were in UCLA, and of course, it was Aaron Rodgers
Mm-hmm.
and DK Metcalf working out a little bit together. But Mike, we will get into that in some
Yeah.
comments and things that were said about that. However, also today, as far as about 3 hours ago, the Steelers was reported the Steelers are waiting. The Steelers are willing to wait for Aaron Rodgers, but they can't. But they aren't willing to wait past the point where it makes things too difficult for them. This
Yeah.
was said this morning. So I mean, as of yesterday, I was well under the impression that that things were good and they probably had something figured out and
Yeah.
he was down there working with Metcalf. That's a good sign. And I was ready to come here today and talk about that, which we are. But Mike, I also hear again today that they're kind of drawing a line in a sense. They
Yeah.
haven't made the line known,
Yeah.
but there's still some speculation that there's rumors have it that Aaron Rodgers is still waiting to hear out from the Minnesota Vikings, who's still a
Mm-hmm.
possibility.
Yeah.
So whether that be true or whether that not be true, yesterday we were confident he was coming here. He was working out with DK. Today, the Steelers put put a red line in the sand. They said we're willing to wait, but we aren't willing to wait past the point where it makes things difficult for us.
Yeah.
And then this morning, as far as the rumors go, I hear that he's waiting to hear from Minnesota. What he's waiting to hear, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Again, this could just be a
Yeah.
rumor. But Mike, the latest news on Aaron Rodgers, the latest news on Aaron Rodgers, according to Marca.com, do what you want with that. But Aaron Rodgers apparently leaves the country unexpectedly over the last 24 hours. He is spotted vacationing in Tijuana, Mexico. Again, Marca.com, Marca.com. I don't know these people. I don't see the story widely spread. However, as of this morning, as I was digging up Steelers information and stories, one thing that I did read on Marca.com, whether they have the lead story, they're ahead of the game, or these people are just making things up. As of this morning, according to Marca.com, Aaron Rodgers unexpectedly leaves the country, spotted in Tijuana, which with Aaron Rodgers, it wouldn't surprise me one bit.
Yeah, I'm seeing reports too elsewhere too that he was, down in Tijuana, Mexico. Hey, when you're unemployed in between jobs, why not go? Why not go on a little mini vacation?
Well, here's my thing. It all comes down to the what's really going on.
Yeah.
Because if they have something figured out, I'm cool with him going to Tijuana. He can go anywhere he wants. He could go to Amsterdam. He could go do hookers in Japan. Who cares? But as the statement said earlier, the Steelers are now drawing a line in the sand, saying that they're willing to wait, but we can't wait past the point of where it makes things difficult for us. Now you're disrespecting the place that, ultimately that they're trying to do business too. And you can't sit around and wait for a guy that's going to unexpectedly go out of the country while you're waiting for a decision from him. I would certainly, if I was an employer, I would certainly consider hiring the next person on the list. But you got to. But like I'm saying, we don't know what's going on.
Yeah,
we don't. I mean, if they do in fact have a gentleman's agreement or whatever, that's one story. But the fact that we don't know and we're in the blue, we're in the cold.
Yeah,
and if they're doing that, Mike, they're doing it for a reason. Obviously, I mean, you're trying to keep teams thrown off in the draft and things like this. But I think that really, Mike, it says a lot about the dude if it's kind of unplanned and nothing is really set in stone. But again, we don't know that. They had a good meeting on Friday, a 6-hour meeting. Over the weekend, he shows up at UCLA playing catch with DK Metcalf. The Rooney says that things are. What did he say? Things are really looking good, or what was? I don't even know the correct term that he said. Things are
moving in the right direction.
Moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
So again, Mike, if this is a decoy, I'm fine with that.
Yeah,
I dig it. It's strategy. But on the other hand, if we're still waiting with our sitting on our hand, you got to give us something, dude. You got to give us something because again, this is a multi-billion. There's wheels in motion, and if you're going to go out of the country, which is fine, I think you should take care of your business first. But again, we just don't know. We just don't know, Mike. And we are 22 days away from the NFL draft. That's right, 3 weeks from tomorrow. We'll all be huddled around the TV. I think Mike's going to be doing a live stream if that's still up and running. But Mike, what's your take on all this? Again, kind of pushing 2 days news together. Yesterday was really optimistic. Today, not so much. I don't know what to think.
Yeah. If they have a plan in place, or even if they have a deadline in place, they have contingency plans in place. Because you heard Coach T, Mike Tomlin's like, hey, we're comfortable with Mason Rudolph. We know what he can and cannot do. We that's why we brought him back. We know what he can do. So
hey, Mike, I'll let you take the center stage. And can I just comment one thing on that real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
So is Tomlin, is that confidence in his guy, or has he been drinking a little bit of what Kevin Stefanski's been drinking? Because
I know, right? Yeah.
He says Kenny Pickett is a guy that I believe in.
Exactly. Yeah.
Are they drinking the same Kool-Aid? What's going on?
They
Mike?
might be. They might be. When they were down there at that owners meeting, they were probably comparing notes. How the hell are we going to talk her? How are we going to bullshit the media this year, boys? And that's the thing is like we're all confident with our guy, and you're going to say that we're confident with our guy, but hey, if we happen to land someone, we land someone. So every coach is talking out of both sides of their mouth. Even like I was watching Big Ben's podcast, and he mentioned, hey, Coach T said he's comfortable with him, but why'd you let him go last year? Because you thought the other two guys that you brought in would give you something better, and you got out of them, so you bring Mason back. But it sounds like they have contingency plans in place, or They have multiple plans in place. If, X happens, okay, we're going to go to Y and Z. If X doesn't happen, we're going to go to plan B, which is, X, Y, and Z of this plan right here. So it sounds like they have plans in place, have a deadline in place. Let Aaron Rodgers go do his thing. Let him be the star of the offseason. Let him be talked about. Well, okay, you get all the attention to yourselves. We're going to keep over here planning our stuff, scouting the guys we want to scout, getting interviews with, draftees who we want to do. We're going to finalize our draft board. We're going to keep looking, excuse me, at free agents that we could possibly get after the draft. Talk to them, let them know what's going on. We may or may not sign you now. After the draft, you might be on our list. So there has to be in the background a shit ton that they are doing that they can do. Well, Aaron Rodgers goes be the star of the offseason. Go have everyone talk about him. Well, they keep making plans, keep building the draft board, keep looking at teams, keep calling teams. Hey, do you want to move up, move down? Is this player available? Is that player available? So while Aaron can do all that stuff, they can operate in the background and do what they want to do. Let people think that, they're confused. They're being held hostage. They don't know what they're doing. Well, they're all sitting back and laughing and just doing what they need to do because Omar Khan, Andy Weidel, they've shown they're flexible in the draft, flexible in free agency. Things don't go the way they want. They have plans in place to move around the draft.
Right.
I think that's what has to be going on. You don't even have to be brilliant to do that. You just have to be competent. And we've seen that from the past couple drafts and off seasons. Weidel and Khan aren't afraid to go outside the Steeler norm. And we just got to be comfortable with it and trust those two. And, so far, they have my trust. They haven't done anything egregious to where I'm like, oh, God, these guys are idiots.
I do want to say good morning to everybody on the board this morning. Tortilla Jackson, Corey Beavers, Roger Murray, Caleb, my man, what's going on, everybody? Tortilla says, here we go. That's right, baby. Here we go.
Here we go.
3 weeks, guys. It's going to be draft eve. 3 weeks from today. So it's almost here, guys. Corey says, hey, bros. I just got moved down because he sent another one in. All right, here we go. Hey, bros, I noticed that in the UFL, the refs use body cams to help make close calls. How the F has the NFL not gotten it hip to that? Makes me think that sports betting is a thing. Yeah, you know what? The whole sports betting thing, I think, I think it has definitely things that it has. Some things going on in the NFL. It's certainly been different since they jumped into bed with gambling. But we'll go over that on a different day. But I also, as far as what you're saying with the cameras, they are, is what I'm seeing, Corey, is they are swapping the first down chains for Sony 8K cameras. Also, they are obviously discussing the 18 games. There's owners that want it to be 18 games, which I do like. Mike's not a big fan of that. Also, the tush push. They're saying that the risk of injury was cited as a reason for eliminating the tush push. Of course, there was certainly multiple arguments. Let's see. Also, okay, it's the tush push risk of injury was cited a reason for eliminating it. Although Art Rooney II, he needs to see more data. He says the owners need to see more data before they can make a call on it. And also, finally, one other change that I did see that I liked was this. Kickoff touchbacks will be placed at the 35-yard line. I like this. The ball's going to be at midfield before you know it. I mean, these guys are going to have to eventually take a kickoff at some point. I mean, you are football players, guys. But at the end of the day, those are some of the things that I did here. But I do think, the UFL seems like they are experimental in a lot of ways. Mm-hmm. And even, from the kickoff that we adopted from them, I mean, they do things different. But I'm not convinced they don't. As I said, the UFL, Mike, I think you're slowly going to start to see it being eaten up by the NFL, almost in a WWE kind of way, that it's just too big. There's, no way of competing with the NFL, and I think the UFL is ultimately going to see that. And someday it's going to be it's going to be connected, and maybe, like we said, a minor league system. It's the only of the major four sports that there isn't a minor league system, and that's a crime because, again, there's a lot of kids coming out of high school that can't get a career in the field as a pro football player in college and this and that. So I would like to see a minor league system, get more guys involved, maybe guys that thought their career was over, they could keep working as you do in baseball, hockey, basketball, so on and so forth. But I do think that things that are being done in the UFL, there is a connection with the NFL, and I think the NFL watches very closely as they move forward, because if it's working in the UFL, it sure as hell work in the NFL. And again, I think it'll come. All those things I think will eventually, especially the technology things, Mike. They'll be here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think what they're doing, it might not be explicit, but there's some, hey, you guys try this out, if and we'll financially compensate you guys, funnel you some money through a donation here or there, or promote your games on our network if you try these things out, try out these body cams, try out the new kickoff return, try this out, try that out. Because like you said, they don't have a true minor league to where they can try it out like the way baseball does, or hockey or basketball does. So start using these leagues. Or if you're not gonna do one of those backroom deals where, hey, you try this out, just flat out fucking steal from them. If these body cam things work, use them. Might as well. And that's kind of what they did with the kickoff. They saw that it worked in the UFL, but I think it was a talent level disparity between the UFL and the NFL to where this stuff was able to work more. And hopefully, with punishing teams by now getting the ball at the 35, you're going to see some shorter kicks that allow kickoff returns to actually happen and get that exciting play back into the game.
Roger says they let Mason go because they got Russ for $1 million and Justin Fields for draft picks. Yeah, absolutely. Caleb says -1 DH coin to Mike for no Scarlet on Scarlet Thursdays. Mike,
I'm gonna argue this -1 DH. Today's Wednesday. Caleb, today is Wednesday. Tomorrow is Thursday. So who loses the points now or the coins now?
I think it should be me, because I'm looking from outside the box and I literally got it wrong.
I know both Caleb of you guys did.
Caleb made the mistake.
Yeah,
you've seen it right away. I'm looking at everything. I still see it wrong.
I've been waiting to pounce on that comment since I saw it pop up.
Maybe just give me Mike's coin, and we'll just call it that a day. Corey at Rogers, I'm also willing to bet that after that small run Mason went on, his agent tried to press for more money, and the Steelers said, get it somewhere else. I don't think Mason. I don't think it was an issue with Mason. I think Mason's Mason. Yeah. You're going to get what you get, and you know what? In tough games, you're probably going to do the same thing that happened to us in the past couple years in tough games. I mean, it's the same team. There's a few changes here and there, but I think he's going to win games that the Steelers would probably win, and I think that he's probably going to lose games. We're again with a good quarterback, like with Ben. You win it every week, and you thought to yourself, you know what? We had a chance to win this game. Let's go out and beat them Patriots, a team that we never beat. With Ben under center, you still felt confident. You still watched the game,
damn good chance,
and you thought to yourself, we could win this. But that's not the case with these guys, and that's the point that I'm trying to make. Yeah, he'll do fine for what it is, but again, I wouldn't expect any big runs. I wouldn't expect any big changes. I just think that it's Mike Tomczak 2.0. It's that all them
Kent
guys.
Graham and all those guys. Yeah, it's exactly. Literally from Bradshaw retiring till drafting Ben. That's where we're in. I hope it's not a 20-year gap. I survived it once. I can do it again. Some of these new current fans, I don't think they can. But Corey and Roger, I think you guys are right. Like the Steelers, they've done that in the past too. They've told guys, hey, go test free agency. If you can find more money elsewhere and you want to go there, go. This is what we have to offer. You know what you have here. No hard feelings either way. It's probably what happened with Mason.
And you know what? The teams certainly aren't beating down the door to get to him. And that's another sign. I mean, the one thing that you could really go with is, he's played here. He's familiar with the offense, familiar with the city. But at the end of the day, he went to Tennessee. He got paid what he got paid. He didn't do great. He came back. Nobody else is out there throwing money at Mason Rudolph. So, if we're going to just say, you know what, he'll be a good bridge quarterback to come and do whatever and probably get similar results than we got the past couple of years. Maybe, maybe a winning record, maybe a game in the playoffs, something like this. But I wouldn't expect much more, Mike, if Mason is the guy from the get-go. That's just what he is. It's what he is. He's been a backup his whole life, and there's guys, and it's fine. There's guys that are backups, But if he is the guy, I wouldn't expect any great improvements on the team. Which I don't know if that's what people were saying when they say that they they're okay with Mason. What does that mean to you when people say that they're okay with Mason? Does that mean it's just similar to the past couple of years? We got a guy that we're probably going to have a decent season, maybe get into the playoffs and maybe win a game or two. Are there really any truly optimistic folks, Mike, that are saying this, or is it just basically the same as what I'm saying?
I think people are just like, you know what you're going to get out of Mason. You're going to get a guy that's not afraid to chuck the ball all over the field, not afraid to take shots when it's there, not even afraid to make mistakes. And you know what you're getting out of Mason Rudolph. He's your typical bridge quarterback. He's a guy that can guide the franchise until you get your guy. And I think he would be a valuable person to have on the roster even after you get your guy. Because like Cam Hayward said, the guys in the locker room love him. You want to have someone like that around. And if he becomes he is just your backup, he's a quality backup. He can be like a Charlie Batch. Come in, win you a handful of games till the starter's ready. And be the eyes and the ears for the starting quarterback. Be the eyes and the ears and the mentor to the guy coming along, and to be a glue guy in the locker room, which, every team, every sport needs one of those guys that everyone loves. Everyone loves to rally around. And why not have it be your
Mike?
backup
Let's just bring
quarterback?
back Charlie Batch. If that's the deciding factor, let's just bring Charlie back. Everybody loved him. He's great in the locker room.
I don't think Charlie can play anymore.
Hey, I see Charlie. He doesn't look bad.
He doesn't look bad, but I don't think there's any tread left on those tires.
Let's get back to some more messages. Mike Rogers says, I agree, Corey. After all, he was a free agent. Caleb. Yeah, he was also 1 week without sports, gambling, and feeling pretty good.
I picked up the slack for you, brother. I gambled all weekend long on the same $20. Ups and downs, ups and downs, ups and downs, and downs and downs.
Tortilla Jackson. Next thing that we know that they will add golf rules, and we will play ball where it lands, line of scrimmage, and stands.
You are now part of the action.
Yinzer Joe, yo, what's up, man?
Yinzer?
Always great seeing you. Caleb does reply, Mike, to what you had said, and he says, no, you're right. It is not. It is not Thursday. Crap, I thought it was Wednesday. I haven't even smoked yet. What the hell?
Yeah.
That's what off-season does.
You got to get your mind right. You got to smoke to get focused.
Yinzer Joe says, do you guys think Rodgers waits till the draft or after, or the McAfee show, which is Monday, one night out down at the arena? Monday, of course, is what Yinzer Joe is talking about. Pat McAfee from the PMS. He started out about 1,500 tickets, Mike. I guess he's doing pretty well. They're up to about 3,000 tickets. So he's probably going to get a good show. And you know what? That seems like a very Aaron Rodgers thing to me.
Yeah.
But for one, he's almost like a permanent fixture on that show.
Yeah.
For two, if you're going to become the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback and you're Aaron Rodgers, this sounds like a perfect opportunity. Yeah. Again, you're friends with the show. It wouldn't be a thing to get him on, which, I don't think at this point, I'd be surprised, Mike, if he's not on Monday's show. I'd be surprised if he doesn't make the call Monday. And again, if he doesn't, that makes what the Steelers said this morning just all that much more interesting when they said that we're willing to wait. We're willing to wait for Aaron. However, we aren't willing to wait past the point where it makes things too difficult. And again, draft, Mike, we were just 22 days, 3 weeks from tomorrow. So it's coming down to it. I think we're going to know. I think we're going to know what's going on in the next 3 weeks, Mike. So just hang on, people. We're going to we'll make it through this. I promise.
Yeah. And even if Aaron Rodgers doesn't sign by the draft, if they draft a quarterback, I think that's a sign that they're done with the whole Aaron Rodgers situation. They're going to ride with Mason and whoever else they draft, and then look again to next year's draft, which might be a stronger quarterback draft, to draft another quarterback, which I am okay with. And if they don't draft a quarterback, I think Aaron Rodgers will sign after the draft. Brett Favre, his last time that he signed with the Vikings was right after the draft, before training camp started. Aaron Rodgers last year didn't want to go to OTAs. Didn't want to do a bunch of off-season stuff at the facility with the team. So maybe he's going to stick around till after that. But if he doesn't sign then, but you see him out throwing with DK, you see him throwing with George, you see him throwing with Freiermuth and Austin and Wilson, that would be a sign, okay, my man just doesn't want to do the OTA stuff. He's going to work out with the receivers, get the report, and then sign after that and be ready for training camp. There's a lot of things to go on with Aaron Rodgers. And, I think the Steelers are handling it just fine. They're doing it a whole hell of a lot better than what the Jets did. The Jets, parted heaven and earth. And yes, Aaron, what do you need, Aaron? We will do whatever you need for Aaron. And the Steelers are saying, we'll wait until a point, and then we're going to go and do what we need to do.
Which is a logical move.
Yeah, right? It's like you kind of have to do it. You kind of have to tell him, like, that little brat child of, you can do what you want, but once this point happens, we're doing what we need to do, whether you like it or not. You're either here or not.
Well, that's the thing about Discount Double Check over there. He has to realize that the world don't revolve around him.
Yeah,
we're a company. The NFL's a company.
Yeah,
these are franchises. They need to run their business.
Yeah,
and if you're going to play games, if you're going to play, elementary, kindergarten games, I'm not telling. You got to get out the way, you got to move. It's a big time. It's not the hot dog shop down at the end of the road. This is the NFL. You can't let a dude, come on. And the thing is, as you said, Mike, this is a 41-year-old man at this point.
Yeah,
we're not, he's not in any position.
No.
I don't know what Caleb is saying holy shit about, but I'm going to continue, Caleb. If there's something big happening right now, do let me know. Let us know on the board. But you can't wait around for one. And again, he's not a young superstar. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but at the end of the day, he's 41 years old. The Steelers cannot. Let's see. McAfee is doing an event in Pittsburgh. Yes. That in just 1 second. We will get to that in 1 second. But that's my feeling on that, Mike. You can't stop your whole business for one dude who's a 40-plus guy. You can't let this guy drag you around by your balls. You just can't. And no matter what business you're in, if you're at McDonald's, you can't play that game. You have a business to run.
Yeah, and that's why I said, like, let him do his thing out for the cameras, and you just keep doing what you need to do behind the scenes and have all your ducks in a row, depending on what your candidate that you offered a job to decides to do. That's what I would do at my job before, is like, people offer someone a job, they if they don't want it, okay, here's the next person that we're going to go to, the next person we're going to go to, and while they're doing that, we're going to hire people for this spot, that spot. And that's
very odd.
The Steelers are doing. It's what
it's
the Steelers
very odd, Mike.
They're signing free agents that they know they need.
It's very odd
that they need. Yeah,
that an organization like the Steelers would even put themselves in this position, unless, like I said, they have something going on.
Yeah,
and they have something again that nobody really knows or is talking about at the time. But again, you can't. Let's say you're McDonald's and you get a really good candidate, and then you get somebody who's okay.
Yeah,
but then the good candidate doesn't answer the phone when you call them about starting the job. And then the candidate says, well, hold on. I have to check a couple things in my life first before I decide if I'm going to take the job. And then the candidate goes on vacation when you're hoping for an answer, when you could have got this guy who's just a little bit not as good, but you could have got him in. He could have been learning the grill. He could have been learning how to make fries, whatever. At some point, you got to say, I'm trying to do business here. I'm trying to do my job. And that's my problem with Aaron Rodgers. It's always about him. Not a big fan of that, guys. But I do want to say this, Mike. I did kind of start to get used to the idea that Aaron Rodgers might come here.
Yeah.
It's going to be I'm almost at the point now. It's like I want to see what he got in the tank. Because, Mason is Mason. We've already got to look at that.
Yeah.
And if Aaron comes here, I'm not against it. I want to see what he could do maybe at his age. Maybe, and if he was throwing the ball around well. 5-7 or whatever it was, 5-15. I don't know what the hell he finished out. Wasn't great, but at the end of the day, individually he did, he did well. So I was kind of getting to this thing. I hope maybe that he might come here, but either way, at this point works for me, Mike. If he does, if he doesn't, I'm going to go right back here to Tortilla real quick. Tortilla says we did bring him back the first time, and we let him go when he was worth more than we wanted to pay. Then he goes on to say Rodgers tears his Achilles while announcing his signing with the Steelers on the Pat McAfee show. Wouldn't that be something? Walking up the steps. There goes his Achilles.
Oh, God. Hopefully he didn't sign the contract beforehand.
Yeah. Mark Malone, what's up, brother? He says draft the QB every year until you. You know what, Mark Malone.
I still have the Mark Malone mock draft ready to go. All quarterbacks, baby. But
This
that's
is
what you got to
you know,
do.
Mark might be the smartest one in the group because at the end of the day, you know, you do get your franchise quarterback quicker if you go that route, and you do get back on the winning track quicker if you do find your guy. Yadra Joe says, I think Rodgers doesn't want to go through the OTAs and camp, so he'll wait to sign afterwards. Mark Malone says, yes, yeah, Val Kilmer did pass away. I was actually up, it was about 1:00, and I got the I'd seen that. Mark says the New York Post mentioned Batman Forever and The Doors as his works in the headline, not Top Gun, not Tombstone. I agree; those are all fantastic movies. My favorite was the the Oliver Stone Doors movie from the '90s,
Yeah.
but I have nothing bad to say
Dude.
about Tombstone, Top Gun, or Batman Forever. But 65 years old, he was battling throat cancer, I
He
think,
was rough.
and then he got pneumonia.
Yeah. He was rough.
So the
Mm.
But great. I don't always say this because I'm not into movies and actors like that in Hollywood, but I always said that he's a great actor.
He was amazing. He went from doing like a goofball, what was it? Weird Science? No, not Weird Science. Fuck, I forget the movie. The one where he's a genius, real geniuses. He went from that playing a goofball high school kid into his very next movie was being Iceman in Top Gun. Like without skipping a beat, the dude had range. Dude was a great actor. He was fucking Jim Morrison, dude. He was Jim Morrison in that movie. He was great. Heat is another great one from Val Kilmer. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, him and Robert Downey Jr. Dude was just a great actor. I was pissed. Like when I first saw, I was like, "Damn, that sucks." I'm like, "Fuck, why didn't I pick him in the death pool?" That was one of my first reactions. Was like, we should have got him in the death pool, and we did not. Ryan looked like he froze. There we go.
Talking to I
Yeah. Okay.
so
Yeah.
I
You
let
just
you know.
came. Yeah. You came back in. You're good.
Yeah, I know. I watched the whole thing play out. It was a disaster. But yeah, I think I heard a couple things. Jim Morrison, the Doors movie was fantastic.
Great movie.
I couldn't even imagine somebody playing the Jim Morrison role better than Val Kilmer did. And as you said, Tombstone, come on. These movies are great. Caleb says, Mike, how was the Minecraft movie? Good question, Mike. How was the Minecraft movie?
I did not see the Minecraft movie. My kid who just popped in the background a couple times to steal some stuff from me. He just loves Minecraft. He plays it on his iPad and builds. We haven't seen the movie yet. I'm not taking him to the movie because my kid thinks he's the main character of everything. So he won't do well in the movies. I gotta wait till it goes out to streaming. But me and Derpy will do a review for you, Caleb, if you want. I know that's what you want. I know that's what you need.
Corey says, I was thinking, what if we pulled a Cincy move and drafted Amika in the first round and Will Howard in the third round so that chemistry is already there? He could learn from Rodgers if he comes. I don't know. LOL. Also, Caleb says, isn't Top Gun a porno? Corey corrects him quickly. Corey says, no, that's called Top Buns. Top Buns is the porno. Top Gun is
I like how Corey knew that one right away. He was like, I know that one. Top Buns, baby.
Cruise. Tom
it's like
Cruise.
Edward Penis Hands.
And Goose. Remember when Goose got killed? I remember that in Top Gun.
R.I.P. Goose.
Tortilla Jackson says Mike was in the Minecraft movie. I don't know much about the Minecraft movies, Mike. What's going on with this? What is that, a kid movie?
Yeah, it's a kid movie. Yeah. That's all I know about it. Like Jack Black's in it. Jason Momoa. That's about all I know.
Hey, Jack Black's still around, huh?
Yeah, Jack Black's still kicking, man. Fat guys live forever, man. We only die from cocaine.
I do want to say this, Mike, that the workout between the two guys last week was at UCLA. I think on Monday I did say that it was in Florida. However, Mike, the workout was in UCLA, so don't hang me for that. Also, Mike, a couple other things here about let's talk about the Pat McAfee show. Yes, I do want to. We will answer that, and it is Monday. It's called One Night Out. One Night Out AHT. It's a Pittsburgh themed show, and it's going to be, I think, at 8:00 on Monday. It's the PPG Arena, and he's going to be doing a show like he does. And as I was saying, Aaron Rodgers became almost as a permanent fixture on the show, so it would make a lot of sense. The speculation is that this is when it's going to happen. but nobody knows for sure. But again, as much as he spends time on the PMS, you figure at some point they would say this is a really cool thing. If you're going to be the quarterback in Pittsburgh, why not go on the one night out, make your decision, sell some tickets, get people all excited, Mike, and just again, it would just be a little over 2 weeks to the NFL draft at that point. But it is going on Monday. Mike, I think I don't know. I just know that they're doing well. They opened up a new section, sold more tickets, seats, things like this. So whether we do make it down, whether we don't, we'll certainly be on top of it, guys. But it's very possible, from what I'm hearing, that he might be able to make this. He might be making this decision, Mike, on Monday.
Why not? Why not, man? That like you said, man, that'd be the way to do it. Ingratiate yourself to the Yinzers in town that are there, and just that arena will go nuts if he comes out and says, "I'm the starting quarterback." Everyone will like it except Jen. We start talking about Aaron Rodgers, and here comes Jen.
Good morning to Jen on the board. Great to see you as always. Mike, my last thing on Aaron, then we're going to move a little bit forward here. To get off of Aaron Rodgers, for crying out loud. And I don't know if it's true, but you may have seen it on X, formerly known as Twitter. One of our media guys, one of our geniuses here in Pittsburgh, they got a tip from one of their callers. So again, I don't know. I don't know the callers, but I certainly know the guy by his name on his show. He says this gentleman called in and says that Aaron Rodgers put a bid on a house just outside of Pittsburgh. Again, you're taking a caller, and you just don't know who it is. It could be anybody. It could be anybody trolling, for that matter. Yeah.
I like the same thing. Listen to the Big Ben's podcast. He was like, his chef said that he heard from someone that Aaron Rodgers put in a bid on the house out by.
So
by
maybe
the
that's what the guy was saying when he called in.
Yeah, he probably heard it on Benzing trying to pass it off at his own. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess that puts
I love the off season, baby. It's the best.
That puts a little bit more credibility into what was being said, being that it was on the Big Ben podcast, Mike. Also, Big Ben, a couple other quotes that was from his podcast. Big Ben thinks that the holdup with Aaron Rodgers is waiting to see if the Minnesota job opens up. Mm-hmm. So that's straight from the horse's mouth as far as Ben goes. What he knows, what he doesn't know, I'm not sure, but I'm sure he knows more than we do, just because he's Big Ben. Also, Mike, Big Ben says Steelers become a different team with Aaron Rodgers, which, that's up for debate. We've been saying that you would hope that it would be a different team.
You would hope.
Especially being that you just brought in DK Metcalf. But, how can you really tell? Look. I mean, people were expecting big things in New York, Mike. They planned a whole season scheduling in New York around. They had 5, 6, 7. I don't know how many primetime games. But as soon as Aaron Rodgers got there, you get a lot of primetime games.
Yeah, if come here, get a bunch of primetime games, I will be pissed. Let's just keep the Sunday night games. It fucks up with my schedule. But no, like with Aaron Rodgers, God, you saw that he was getting a whole hell of a lot healthier at the end of the year. He was moving around a much better than he did at the beginning of the year, but he's not that mobile not like the elusive quarterback that he once was. And we kind of saw that with Russ. But a good thing with Aaron Rodgers, he can see over that O-line. He can, get that ball in and out quick too. So, I kind of want to see what he can do. I think him and Arthur Smith could work together. I think Arthur Smith can tailor an offense for Aaron Rodgers. If he can tailor an offense for Ryan Tannehill, he should be able to put something together for Aaron Rodgers. Just, Aaron, what do you like? What do you want to do? Because they like some of the similar route concepts. So just work together. And that's probably what it was too. Sitting down, talking with Arthur Smith, going, hey, you're not going to handcuff me the way, you guys handcuffed Russ. And part of that was Russ wanting to rehabilitate his image to be a coachable, be seen as coachable. And I can see Aaron Rodgers going, hey, 2-minute drill, I'm calling those plays. And you got to be okay with that. And you got to be okay with letting him do, audibles at the line. But, you know what? Just call the offense what he wants. But when he's out on the field, let him do what he does.
Mike, if it works, people will love it. If it don't work, people will hate it. Bottom line.
Exactly.
A couple of things that Coach T had to say this week. Coach T says Roman Wilson didn't play last year at all because he just wasn't ready. He wasn't ready mentally to play in the NFL. I respect that. I respect the transparency.
Yeah.
And again, not saying it during the season. There's walls that you want to keep up between yourself and other
Yeah.
teams.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I want to see Roman Wilson be involved this year.
Mm-hmm.
He had a whole year to study, to learn,
Yeah.
figure out how to play this level. And even if he doesn't come out and do great, Mike, I want to see him play. I want to see the guy, how he moves on the field.
Yeah.
There's certain things you can see by watching a guy play that that the numbers can't show you sometimes. I want to see that, Mike. And then also, you're going to go back to something that you were just saying recently about our boy Rudy, Mason Rudolph, of course. Mike Tomlin is comfortable with Rudy being the starting quarterback season because, quote, that's why we brought him back. That's, makes good sense, right? That's why we brought him back.
Yeah.
And also, Mike, they believe he is very capable. Very, very capable of what? I don't know, but they believe he's very capable. And here's the thing about the Steelers. They always say this.
Yeah.
Well, we believe in Mason Rudolph. Well, we believe in our defense that just lit up, we believe in our offensive line.
Yeah.
We got to quit believing in bullshit and just bring in the real deal on things and stop doing that. It's been that way forever. Well, we believe in at some point you just got to go better. At some point you just, again, I'm not bad mouthing Mason. I'm bad mouthing the Steelers more in a sense that, you know what I mean? And they're always, we're going to be okay. Next person, which again, if that works, it's a stroke of genius.
It's great. Yeah.
If it doesn't, you get somebody that can do the job. It's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Again, let's compare to McDonald's. If somebody's working the grill, it's not capable. They get rid of them and they bring somebody in who can. I mean, that's common sense, I think. And then finally, Mike, as far as the Steelers go, this was one that caught my attention the other day. This was comments made by George Pickens Sr. George Pickens Sr. on X, formerly known as Twitter. He criticizes the Steelers for their inability to find a long-term solution at quarterback. Goes on to say to his son, I appreciate your sanity, 14. Mike.
If this is George at sanity. I hate to see him at insane.
And maybe just by going listening to the senior here, maybe he's a chip off the old block, some might say.
Yep.
With just being a little bit different with his but Mike, the comment is he criticized the Steelers for their inability to find a long-term solution. Mike, who is wrong? Is he wrong for pointing this out? Is he wrong because it's his kid and everyone always says, most of the time they think that the benefit of the doubt should go toward their child? Or, Mike, is this the case of just another person seeing the Steelers organization drop the ball one more time?
He's not wrong. But as, the parent of, a pro athlete, you tend not to want to start mouthing off on Twitter. Because then, then your kid has to answer about it. Then the organization has to answer questions about it. Then it can become a distraction. So you don't want to say it. But he's not wrong. He's not wrong. But, the Steelers are every year. Okay, it didn't work. We're going to go get someone else. It didn't work. We're going to go someone else. So they know, the Steelers know it. They're trying to rectify it. They thought they rectified last year with getting Russ. Turned out that wasn't the case. And they're hoping this year, getting if they can get Aaron Rodgers, that will work. The handful of games that George and Mason played together, they showed some good chemistry. Well, I'm kind of intrigued to see what those two can do because George seemed to like Mason Rudolph. When he was in there, he seemed a different receiver, seemed like a different type of person. But like I said, George, if this is George being sane, I can't wait to see him completely insane and off the rails because it's gonna be epic. But George, he's turning 24. You got to start maturing at some point.
Right.
But I say that, but I look at myself at 24 in my work situations, what I thought places were ran poorly. I never had a problem speaking up and saying what was on my mind. So I get where George is coming from, but I wasn't making, millions of dollars and, being one of the best
saying,
of the
Mike,
best.
shit, if GP Sr. wants to play quarterback, he can. And that's the other option. Like, is this guy just, is he out of line? The dude, as far as I know, he was never an NFL football player. He was never good enough to make it himself.
Yeah.
And is it just that easy? Let's go out and just find a franchise quarterback. So that's what I'm saying. It's obviously not that easy, Mike. So that's what I'm saying. How should the GP comments be taken? Who should be taking them?
Yeah.
And do you think that just as you said, at some point the child has to face things with
Yeah.
his business and his
Yeah.
employment and his bosses? Where does this fall again, Mike? And who was it aimed to? Who was it aimed at? Was it
Eh,
to say, hey, this Steeler fans this, or is it maybe if I say this loud enough, the Steelers front office will go out and get a real quarterback? Again, still not as easy as it sounds, but
exactly.
how was this taken, Mike? I was little confused by it.
I have a feeling like he's probably saying it for the Steeler fans, and the owners and coach and GMs are probably like they probably hear this shit all the time. When families around, and how people can be talking and not knowing you're around, they probably hear it all the time and just let it roll off their back because hey, you as a parent, you want to see your kid put in the best situation. If it's not you, you're going to say something. Now with social media and everyone being able to put their thoughts out there, and this shit's probably happened since the beginning of pro football. So I don't think the Steelers are going to care about it. They only care about what George is saying. And if it's George saying it, then it becomes a problem. But if it's George Sr. saying it, they're probably like, oh, okay, whatever. As long as it's not, our guy 14 saying it.
Or is this just a precursor? Because just last week we hear how interested in Shedeur Sanders would be to be a Steeler. Maybe this is just a precursor, Mike, for us to be prepared for
Yeah.
possible daddy coming to town who might be vocal at some point.
Yeah. Who knows? And, hey, this might be the last year we have to deal with George Jr. and Sr. His contract's up at the end of the year. And, maybe George is like, hey, Pops, I'm trying to get some money here. We finally got another good receiver next to me. We might be getting Aaron Rodgers. Hey, Pops, I appreciate you looking out for me, but tone it down some. Tone it down some.
Be like on the movie Friday when Red tries to get his bicycle back.
Yeah.
And I hold on. Let me you put this up. I got to get to this real quick. Tortilla, we were talking about the Top Gun movie you said was a porno. Tortilla says Bottom Guns starring Derpy and Finch.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what happens when they're not here. They catch strays.
That's right. And then also Corey goes on Goose's loose goose in that movie and is a lady. Oh man. But oh man, we got more. But where was I going? Like, I don't even know what I was talking about.
We were still talking
all right, I'm
about
gonna jump in right
Pickens.
here.
Yeah.
George Pickens, yeah. Kellerhaus, what's up, brother?
What up?
It's right around noon here, so it is afternoon here in Western PA at least. Kellerhaus says maybe we're actually missing a lot of the Rodgers drama by him waiting to sign. Just thinking of all the crazy media coverage if he was already a Steeler. Absolutely. I think there's probably a lot of things playing a part here. And I can't imagine, that I think at some point you do have to put fans and you do have to put media into consideration because again, this is a city that's like no other when it comes to pro football, Mike. And I think the fans and what they say and the frenzy that they cause, and even talking heads and the frenzies that they cause, it all plays a big part here in Pittsburgh because it's such a big part of culture. And everybody has something to say. Everybody wants to be involved. Everybody wants the team to be good. Jen says, someone please send GP Senior the book Parenting with Love and Logic. I gotta catch a glimpse of this dude. I've never seen George Pickens Sr. I'd like to take a look at this dude. Roger says GP's dad is wrong. First, we thought the Russ and Fields signing was a win. That's true. Fast forward, we didn't know Russ was going to regress and Fields was not going to develop. Yeah, yeah. Like we just need to, and it's the thing is, it's always like we said, it's easier said than done.
Oh yeah.
We have to get that guy. You get that guy, everything changes. And I'm not saying we're going to win a Super Bowl every year or anything like this, but you get that guy, it brings it all together. It brings the team together. It brings you can have that sense of, what, we could be a winning team. And it's not just babble saying we believe in the third string quarterback. You really do. You go into, as I said with Ben, there wasn't a game that you felt that we couldn't win. New England beat us year after year after year, but you felt every year when they came around, what, we got Ben, we could win this football game.
Yeah.
And you just, we don't have any of those guys. And there's only a handful of them that exist, unfortunately, Mike, but getting that is going to be the biggest thing. Again, we learned it in 04, 05 when we got Big Ben after the period of time that we went through, Mike, especially at our age. it's the best feeling in the world. So if we get a franchise quarterback, guys, enjoy it, obviously, because as I always said during Ben's career, guys, there's going to be life after Ben. Believe it or not, we're going to have to go through some shit. And younger people didn't understand what that meant till now.
No, because
That's where
that's
we're
all
at.
they. Yeah, that's all they knew was 18 years of Ben Roethlisberger. That's all they knew. We lived through the dark times. We were Steeler fans after Terry Bradshaw. We knew Mark Malone and guys like that. And then finally we
I think Mark Malone's a fine guy, Mike. I just want to throw that out
there. His doppelganger's a great guy. Himself as a starting quarterback in the NFL, not so much. I still have nightmares of, him throwing the ball like this and then going 5 years behind him. Okay. That's my.
There's a couple amazing things he did, Mike. Like literally a couple things that he did. I think he had like a 90-yard touchdown catch.
Oh yeah,
you remember that?
Yeah, he had stuff like I'm not,
literally a couple things that he, a couple things
was,
that he did was really spectacular. But
he was a starting quarterback in the NFL. You can never take that away from him. But objectively speaking, but we're in the downtimes, and it can be a whole hell of a lot worse. We can be 1-16 every fucking year, still trolling to find a quarterback that can hit.
Yeah,
it sucks because I want to win championships, I want to contend, but we're winning, and there's a lot of franchises looking at us going, "Quit your fucking bitching,"
But we don't want to. That's why
we don't want to. We've earned the right to bitch because
right.
We've been to the highest to high. We've been up there, so we know what it takes. We know we can do it, and it sucks right now that we haven't been in that position in 8 years.
Mike, we're the only team. 1970. 1970 was the last time that we had a number 1 overall draft pick. This team is just known for being good. They're just, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
the Yankees. And here's the thing, Mike. Yankees could get eliminated first round. The Yankees could miss the playoffs. At the end of the day, it's the Yankees. People don't care of what was going on. I mean, the rivals do. They give you shit. Guys from Baltimore are certainly going to give them hell in New York if they're not playing well. But it is what it is. If you're a Steeler fan, you have higher expectations. Are you a bad person? No, you're just used to a certain way that other teams aren't. And if, as I say, to the victor goes the spoils. I've always felt that way.
Yeah, like I was going to say all 3 of our franchises, but the 2 main franchises in the city, they've been to the mountaintop, and it hasn't been that far along for either team too. So we know they can do it. You have the organization, people in place that that can get you there. It's just, why aren't they getting us there now? And it's frustrating. It's been 8 years for both teams since they've been competitive in the playoffs. You just hope.
So that
changes around the corner.
Mike, let me ask you this.
Yes.
Here's the question. Are you happier with the Pittsburgh sports play this century or in the 1900s all the way back to right after the Steelers won their last Super Bowl? So you include back-to-back Stanley Cup wins, and it includes a Super Bowl loss to the Cowboys, of course. That includes the Pirates having 3 really good seasons but just missing. Or, again, this century, Mike, you have 2 Super Bowl wins, a Super Bowl loss, a Stanley Cup win, a Stanley Cup loss. The Pirates, a nice little playoff run. Which side of the year 2000 do you prefer as far as Pittsburgh sports moments? The pre-2000, 70 to 2000, or 2000 to 2025,
Oh, if we're going 70,
no, I'm sorry, 80. I'm sorry, 80.
80. Well,
80 to 2000 or 20 to 2025, give or take. Things that you were alive for as far as Pittsburgh.
Yeah, because I saw the two Stanley Cups back to back, Lemieux, Yager, Francis, all those guys. That's an undeniable memory. That's one of my earliest sports memories of all time. But until the turn of the century, I did not see the Steelers win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that changed my life.
So winning 2 Super Bowls there, winning 3 Stanley Cups since then. I'm going to have to go with this one right here just because it has more championships. And, Pittsburgh, the city of champions, That's what we measure success on. The Steelers have had 6 good years because we won 6 Super Bowls. The Penguins have had 5 good years because they've won 5 Stanley Cups. Everything else is a failure, is a disappointment.
And I always say this too, Mike. We're talking about our baseball team. This team is one of the better franchises.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think it if you lived in our lifetime.
Hey,
Mike, our life would tell you that this was the worst team ever.
Yeah.
But if you take all Major League Baseball teams and compare them, the Pittsburgh Pirates are like 5th or like 6th, I think, amongst like teams that amount of World Series won. I mean, obviously you got the Yankees, the Cardinals, there's a few teams, but the Pirates, just because they've been around so long, they have 5 World Series wins.
Yeah.
They have a lot of great accomplishments. Again, if you lived during the last 30 years, you really think that this is a terrible team, Mike. But I got to be honest, at the end of the day, the Pirates are a great baseball franchise. They just need to get this idiot out of there, sell the team, which I'm starting to see a lot more of. People wearing sell the team hats and shirts. And I seen a guy with a paper bag over his head at the game the other day saying sell the team. So, maybe, Mike, maybe if that could ever happen and you get a guy that actually cares about sports, baseball, maybe then we'll start to see it. But you know what, this is a waste of everybody's time. I wouldn't recommend anybody go to a Pirate game this year. And I'm going to get in that in a second. We're going to go over them in just a minute, Mike.
Yeah.
But it's starting way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse than I even expected it to. Let's get a couple of these messages, Mike, and then we will take a look and see what the Bucco's been up to. Tortilla Jack said, breaking news, the Steelers trade 2025 first round pick for LeBron James.
If I'm getting 25 and 5, if I'm getting 25 and 5 a game, sign me up.
We can always bring Brawny. He's still a young guy. Maybe he could be as good as he is in basketball on the football field. Caleb says, breaking news, MLB Hall of Famer Dale Murphy is joining the Steelers. If Aaron can't play at 75, I can play at 75. Also, Caleb says, I have felt that way about boycotting the Indianapolis Colts. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Guys, but go ahead, Mike.
You're probably getting the Buckeyes. I don't mean to step on your toes, but just looking at the standings. We were talking about them. There's only one team with a worse record than us, and that's the Atlanta Braves. And that's just shocking because Atlanta's been really good the past couple years.
And they're never going to finish with the worst record in the league.
And they're not. And right now, for me, the Buccos are the worst team in baseball. We are now 17 games above 500. Each loss takes us further and further down. Since 1924 or 1903, we haven't been below 500 as a franchise.
Corey said, I'm sorry, Caleb says, I felt that way about boycotting. They won a Super Bowl. They did good there for a while, but Mike, when we finally won that Super Bowl after a long time, it changed my life. It changed the way I thought of things.
God, yeah, me too. Yeah,
there's a whole different. There's a weight that's taken off your shoulders.
Yeah,
once your team, the Steelers, goes all that time, 25, 20, whatever years. You look at things differently. It sounds weird to say because it's only sports at the end of the day.
Yeah,
but it did. It changed the way I looked at shit, man.
Yeah,
I was awfully bitter and uptight till he got it. All the way up until 2005.
Yeah,
life was rough.
Because I was a big hockey fan growing up. I remember the Penguins just missing it in 80, 89, 90. Then they draft Yager. Then they win. Then they win again, back to back. This is how it's supposed to be. We get upset in the first round in 93. Then the Steelers were the Steelers. Up, down, so close, so close. And it was like a decade between the Penguins winning and the Steelers winning. And that finally happened with the Steelers. Now I feel complete. I saw my Penguins win. I saw my Steelers now. That was the cherry on top. And then,
my cherry's the Pirates. If they had one time in my life, just once, if they could get it done, I mean, come on, just get. I don't even know what I expect. Like I said though, you kind of. It changes the way you look at football. It changes the way you look at every year.
Exactly.
I was just so tired of being disappointed all season long. Or you had a good season, you go 15-1, and you lose. You lose in the AFC Championship. So once you finally are able to get over that hump, it's such a great feeling. And the Steelers, again, they're always being regarded as one of the better teams, and organizations. So that's all the more pressure too. You have a lot of people talking trash and giving you shit. So when it finally gets done, it feels again like a weight is taken off your shoulders, Mike. Let me grab a couple more of these messages. Tortilla says, go to a Pirates and A's game, get shit-faced and kicked out. Yeah, man. I've definitely been there before. Corey says it's time to trade for Purdy and let Rodgers go to his favorite team. It's going to be interesting to see how his career plays out.
Yeah. Purdy cannot play a game in bad weather. When you watch him play in bad weather, he can't do it. He needs to stay in San Francisco or go to a team that has a dome to play in really good conditions. There's just something about him. When it rains or snows, that ball just goes flying out of his hand. His mechanics break down. He just looks terrible in bad weather games. And let's see what he can do without a star-studded lineup. Of course, you can say that about a lot of quarterbacks too. Let's see how they do without a star-studded lineup.
But yeah, I mean, if you would take an individual look at all of them, I'm sure you can make that argument for a lot of them.
Yeah.
Mike, let's move on. We got to get over to the base pads. The Pirates, of course, they set a record last weekend to kick off the season. Opening day for the Pirates through opening weekend, they lose 3 of the 4 games, and 3 of them were 3 losses were walk-offs. They lose. They go 1-3 through the first weekend. Mm-hmm. So this team, Mike, they say we're not going to lose by walk-off anymore. What happens? They go out and they get outscored 13-1 over the next 2 games, Mike. That's right. It is not a walk. It is not a walk-off. The Pittsburgh Pirates, they achieved stopping the walk-offs. Game on Monday, Mike, the Pirates lose 6-1. And the Majinski start, he goes 3.2 innings, gives up 7 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, and has 4 strikeouts. The team managed to get only 4 hits in that game against the Rays, again 6-1. Yesterday, they faced the Rays again in Tampa Bay. They lose 7-0. That's right. It's not the Buccaneers and Steelers. It's the Devil Rays and the Pirates. 7-0 loss. Thomas Harrington gets pulled up. Mike, he makes his debut start. He goes 4 innings, gives up 7 hits, 6 earned runs, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts. It just gets better and better, Mike. The Steelers, they do wrap up the series with the Rays today. The game starts at 1:10, and then they have tomorrow off, and then they're at home to play the Torpedo Bats. That's right. The New York Yankees will be in Pittsburgh this weekend with their bats and their record home runs and their wiffle ball bats and everything else they got going on. I know they had 15 in the first 3 games of the season, which was a record. I know they had 2 yesterday. I don't know what they had the day before. But that team, Mike, the Bronx Bombers are back. They're bringing their bats. They're coming to Pittsburgh to kick our asses this weekend. Again, that series starts Friday, goes all the way through the weekend. Mike, 1-5. The Pirates sit at this moment, heading into the last game of the series with the Rays. First 2 series about to be finished up this afternoon. 1-5. Mike, is this worse than you even imagined it would be?
Yes, very much so. I thought maybe we'd 3-4 or 3-3. Excuse me, I can't add. At least 500 right now, maybe even above. Like we should beat the Marlins. This is terrible. I had us winning, I think being just below 500 again this year. We might lose 100 games this year. This is bad. And I blame Paul Skeens. Because he wants to bring a World Series here. No, we don't do that here in Pittsburgh.
This is the Pirates' way of telling
to quote Rowdy Tellez, we don't do that here. We don't give hope. That's
the Pirates' way of telling Paul it's not happening.
It's not happening, Paul.
So the Pirates 1-5, Mike. Again, the series against the Rays wraps up today. They start at 1:10, and then Friday a 4:12 start at home against the Bronx Bombers. These Pirates did make some moves, though, Mike. They'd sent David Bednar down to AAA, which was heavily needed in that first series against Miami. I mean, he was the reason. I mean, again, 3 walk-offs in 4 games we lost by. We could have, if he was a decent closer, or they would have kept Aroldis Chapman, who could actually get people out late in late innings. Mike, we could be as good as 4-0 after those 4 games. Doesn't play out that way. Again, 1-5 going into the series finale today against the Rays. Yankees this weekend. Also, Mike, after David Bednar does get option to AAA, the Pirates did get an outfielder, Alexander Canario from the Mets. They give the Mets cash considerations. So we did make another minor trade, something that's not going to save the Pittsburgh Pirates. But that's kind of what we have, Mike. I didn't think we would be 1-5 at this point. Again, no. You got to be realistic. But again, at the end of the day, 1-5 was not in my cards.
Not my cards at all. And, the Buckeyes giving someone cash considerations funny, considering, that they were like losing money hand over fist last year.
Yeah, right.
You know,
I'd like to have my money up front in cash, please.
exactly. Like,
Mike,
sorry, Bob,
yeah,
your credit's no longer good here.
right. Here's one for you, Mike. Just some numbers. Since 2015, so between 2015 and 2021, listen to the Pirates pitchers that we lost over that period of time. Charlie Morton in 15, Garrett Cole in 18, Tyler Glasnow in 18, Shane Baz in 18, Joe Musgrove at 21, Jameson Taillon in 21, and Clay Holmes in 21, Mike. The combined record from those pitchers that we lost over that period of time since 2015 to the 21 are 329 and 189. 329 and 189 with a combined ERA, Mike, of 338. That's what we let go. That's what the Pirates let go.
Damn.
So again, it's par for the course.
It is too, and they all got better once they left too. Like Charlie Morton, you heard when they got, oh, Charlie Morton has great stuff. Never saw it. The minute he leaves, he turned into like a Cy Young pitcher. You know, Garrett Cole was, to me, he was so up and down. Leaves, becomes a World Series champion, Cy Young contender. So yeah. Oh God, it sounds about right for the Buccos. You get a good talent, they will ruin it. Hopefully, they do not ruin Paul Skeens.
I don't think they're going to be able to ruin him. They're just going to ruin his time. I mean, his time here is going to be terrible because of this, and you hate to see it.
Yeah, the Padres.
Maybe Paul Skeens' dad should call in and complain.
Maybe he should. Paul Skeens' dad and George Pickens' dad get together and start a complaint line so we can get some improvements here. And like real quick, like Jackson Merrill, for the Padres, the guy who finished second place in Rookie of the Year, to Paul Skeens, signed a 9-year, $135 million deal. You think the Pirates are going to sign something like that?
No.
That's like butt wipe money to what Paul Skeens can get on the open market. And yeah, we're just going to waste his career here, waste his time here. He's going to lose a lot of money and go somewhere else and make a shit ton of money and be the generational pitcher we all know he can be.
And they're going to be happy with taking
whatever they can.
Prospects. They always do that. They get the prospects. They let them play in the minor league system to improve, and then they get rid of them.
Yeah, because they can never develop them right. And like you can do that. You can cycle through prospects. It happens, but you have to do everything right.
You have to know how to do it. They're not,
it almost worked for them, but then they didn't spend the money the correct year they should have.
Jen says, my eye doctor sold frames with the Pirates and Penguins logos, but not the Steelers. Come on, Art, get with it. I know I hate that, especially in the Giant Eagles. Whatever, I don't know if it's Giant Eagle, but one of these stores, Mike, it's always just Penguins and Pirates. And it's like, why? But obviously it's licensing, and things like this. But I hate that too. I hate that. You go somewhere, it's only, which I love my Penguins and Pirates, but if I'm going to spend my money, I went to Steelers, obviously. But that's pretty cool. Mike, one more thing about baseball. You know how I'm always going on about the Indians and the teams that changed their names. Get this. This is something I learned over the past couple of days. The Cleveland Indians were originally the Cleveland Spiders, the baseball team. And they became the Cleveland Indians because they had the very first Native American Indian ever in Major League Baseball on their roster, which was an accomplishment, okay.
Yeah.
Not them, that's, but then they also, Mike, they get the second and the third Native Americans on their team, and they changed their name at that point to the Cleveland Indians. So if it wasn't for the Indians, they would still be the Cleveland Spiders, and it was for a good reason. This is what I'm saying. Like I think that's kind of a respect thing. So, but at the end of the day, of course, we don't want to get into politics or things like that. But I read that and I thought, wow, that's really interesting. Because again, if anybody has an argument, they would have an argument, but they were the team that changed. So kind of crazy, man.
Yeah, hey, they've gone through 3 different names. I mean, they're
who was the Spiders then, Caleb?
They're making a shit ton of money.
Yeah, from what I read that they were the Spiders, but I do also remember seeing these other names as well, the Blues, the Naps. I could have the details messed up, but again, they have a legit reason, Mike, to be the Indians. Enough talking about Cleveland. That really brought me down.
Yeah, why do you always talk about Cleveland? See, this is why I secretly think you are a Browns fan.
Okay.
I
Caleb
don't
says
know.
it feels like we are close to a contraction of the NFL or the MLB, or
Oh, I hope
massive
so.
relocation of the bottom dweller franchises. And that's the thing. It's just getting to that point now where everybody's saying sell the team, and it's just a matter of time because the next move now is just stop going.
Yeah.
And what's their next move? You can't just stop playing. You have to continue to run your business, and now without customers because there's discontent with your product.
Yeah.
So, again, I think that the sell the team thing is about to get big. I think they're really going to hit heavy this year, Mike. Whether it does anything, whether it makes any changes, anybody pays any attention, that has to be the next move. They have to really, really fight the sell the team battle. Nothing is ever going to happen, Mike. And that we have a shirt. I believe we had a shirt
Bob
at one
Nothing.
point.
Bob
The
Nothing.
Bob Nothing shirt. It's a special 2 Dumb Yinzer product in the merchandise section on the website. But Mike, why don't you go ahead and tell everybody about the website?
The2dumbYinzers.com. Check it out. Everyone, like Ryan said, we got the merch store over there. We got the Boom, the derpy one. We got the that's why they play 162. Why are all derpy sayings on our merchandise? I don't know why, but they're over there at the2dumbYinzers.com under the merch section. We got the blog, a new blog up there today. Like the dummy just came back from his scouting trip. Got a mock draft up there. It's contingent on Aaron Rodgers, being a Steeler, and there's a trade in there too. I know, like, I hate doing mock drafts with trade, but I have a feeling the Steelers are going to trade back in the first round, so that's in there too. A couple different players that haven't been in the mock draft are up there now too, so check it out at the2dumbYinzers.com.
Go check it out, everybody. www.the2dumbYinzers.com. That's www.the2dumbYinzers.com. Caleb says on the board, major league teams had a tendency to name the team after their star player. Naps was after Nap. You know what? The Pirates, they were rapey. I mean, right? Pirates rape and pillage and plunder. I wonder who our team was named after. But that's why they were named that, Mike, because they were stealing
we stole their colors, a team's colors, wasn't it?
And their players. Yeah, we were stealing. And that's why they were originally the Alleghenies. Then they were the Steelers.
Yeah.
And then, was the Steelers the Pirates? Yeah, they were the Steelers at one point as well. And then they became the Pirates. I don't know where they got that name. Like I said, the Pirates are rapey and pillagey. And let's see. I do have a couple more here. In my opinion, Cleveland baseball should have renamed into the Comets after the first rock song played on Cleveland radio by Bill Haley and the Comets. That'd be interesting. I mean, it would make sense, right? I mean, most people don't. And here's the thing, Mike. I realize most people don't even know about this Guardian Bridge. Yeah. I had no clue about a Guardian Bridge. I had to learn about it, and it isn't like the that big arc they got in St. Louis.
Yeah, the arch. Yeah.
I think people in Cleveland just expected everybody to know what this bridge is, which I mean,
you're Cleveland. You're Cleveland. How important are you?
Exactly. Tortilla Jackson says, "I seen the A's player. They are certainly not athletic."
That's a good one. That one made me chuckle.
Caleb says Pirates got their name for pillaging talent from lesser. Yes, that's what I learned. So there you go. Let's get into trivia for the day here, Mike. It's gonna be a Steeler trivia. Let's bounce back to what makes us happy.
All right,
take our bags off of our head for the Pirates talk. Get back to the Steelers here. This is about Steeler coaches, guys. So, Mike, put on your thinking caps. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. This is the question of the day. It's a Steeler coaches question. Which of the Steelers' big three? And I'll just say this one time to make it clear, so there's no confusion. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, Mike Tomlin. All right, let me start over. Which of the Steelers' big three coaches has led the team to their most ties? Which of the three main big guys, Mike Tomlin, Bill Cowher, Chuck Noll, which has led the Steelers to the most ties in their time of coaching? I'm looking for number of ties. Which coach's team has tied the most out of those three? Take a minute to think that over. We're live 5 days a week, right here, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on YouTube. Question of the day, guys. Which of the Steelers' big three coaches has led the team to the most ties? Which coach between Tomlin, Cowher, Noll coached the team to the most ties? Tortilla Jackson on the board saying Mike Tomlin, the most recent coach. Roger Murray's also saying Mike Tomlin. If you think back, I can remember a Falcons tie at one time. I remember a Lions tie. I think there was even a Browns tie at some point in there. Which coach, Mike? Which coach's team had the most ties in their tenure? Again, Tortilla Jackson, Roger Murray, both saying Tomlin on the board. One more time, the question: which of the Steelers' big three coaches has led the team to the most ties? Are you leaning any way, Mike, or any?
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with Bill Cowher.
Bill Cowher, okay.
Because I remember ties with Bill Cowher. I remember ties with Tom, but I just feel like Cowher had more.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
All right. So Mike is going to say Bill Cowher is his pick for this. And the question of the day, of course, is which of the Steelers' big three coaches has led the team to the most ties? I'm looking for the coach who has the most ties in their era. Mike, one of these coaches has 2, and the other 2 have 1. With that being said, Tortilla says Chuck did wear a lot of ties, but I'm going with Mike T. But Mike, one of these coaches has 2. The other 2 have 1. Mike, your final answer was, go ahead one more time. Bill Cowher. Right? Okay. I forgot. It wasn't even the. All right. So Bill Cowher, guys on the board are saying Mike Tomlin, to the Steelers' big three coaches, has led to the most ties. 2-1-1. 2-1-1, Mike. Chuck Noll coached the team to 1 tie. 1 tie by Bill Cowher. And Mike Tomlin, of course, he did coach the team to 2 ties, which were both kind of recent. The Cleveland Brown game a few years back that finished in a tie, and then the Detroit Lions game just a few years ago as well. The Bill Cowher tie was a game against the Atlanta Falcons. I remember that was Michael Vick game.
Yeah, I remember that burst.
He just fell just short of the goal line. We aired it out at the end of the game. It was tied, and Plex caught it on the 1 and couldn't stretch his tall ass out to go across the goal line. He fell. His ass hit inside the 1-yard line, and that game ultimately ended up being a tie against the Falcons. And then I don't recall right off the top of my head who the Chuck Noll era tie went to, but I do know the later 3. No two ways about that, Mike. I felt that there was another one somewhere in there for Mike Tomlin as well, but I guess it was only the 2. It was the Browns and the Lions. 2 games that I thought we should have won at the time.
I swear, I thought Cowher had 2. Damn, man.
I remember that one specifically. I do, because it was a Michael Vick. Again, Plexio burst falling right on his.
I remember that one, yeah.
Fighting to get in the end zone. He kind of went backwards, and his ass hit the ground, and that was it.
Weren't we leading in that game, and they came back?
It was not like a big comeback. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was like a 41-41, 30.
It was a shootout.
Yeah. Tortilla says tying against the Browns almost feels worse than losing against the. You ain't shitting. Especially, again, that was a game that we should have won, I felt. And to tie the Browns. Mike, what else? I'm pretty close to wrapping up on my end, man. Do you have anything that's standing out to you that I missed, maybe?
I saw on Twitter that Andrew McCutchen was taking grounders at first base. This is where we're at, Pucko fans, if there are any out there. Andrew McCutchen taking grounders at first base. Now, is that just him getting a little workout in? Or
I would have taken it as an April Fool's joke, but now that we're seeing it on April 2nd, it's even worse than an April Fool's joke.
Yeah.
Oh God, Andrew McCutchen. What are they going to do next? You know?
Yeah.
This team, you just never know. You never know what they're going to do. They're menaces. This is a team of menaces.
It is. It's. I don't like it. Don't like it one bit.
We are going to head into the weekend, Mike. The games for the Final Four, they do start on Friday, starting with the ladies. They play their Final Four games on Friday, and then they do play their championship game on Sunday. And the guys, they play their Final Four games on Saturday with the championship game on Monday. Penguins aren't back in action until tomorrow night. The only thing we really have going on today, guys, is the last game of the series for the Pittsburgh Pirates. They do take on the Rays at 1:10 today. Trying to salvage a win here before they head back home, Mike. But again, the Rays are 4-1 coming into this game. Pittsburgh Pirates are 1-5. We just got outscored 13-1 in the last two games. Let's just see, Mike. Let's see what they could do. If they could at least score a run or two, maybe that's a step in the right direction. Let's see. Nutting ball is bad porn. It's a bad porno. Nutting ball, Mike. Definitely sounds like a bad porno. Jen says, why? What's why? Yeah. I'm not sure, Jen. Why what? I might have missed it. Also, Mike, again, Final Four, all that comes this weekend. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss anything here. Two balls, one dike. Tortillas.
Jesus Christ.
And then also Derpy. I was thinking to myself, Mike, but I don't even know if we're gonna, who's gonna be here by the end of the week. I know Finch is wrapping up his vacation to Vegas.
Yeah,
I do know Derpy's got some things going on here, but I really would have thought. I thought we could have made it interesting and had big, like if Derpy when he gets knocked out, make him like expose his face on the show, just for a brief second. And things that are that would make it interesting. But we should have done that last week. I didn't know how long the Finch was going to be in Vegas and this and that. I think he's home, but again, he has to get back to normal life as well. So I don't know, Mike. It would have been a lot of fun because again, all four teams are number ones, so we could have did something like that. But and then also, Mike, out of the 8 teams between the 4 gals and the 4 men, UConn is the only team that's not a number 1 seed, Mike. Out of all 8 of those teams, everybody else in Final Four competition this week is a number 1 seed. And a lot of people are saying that UConn just might be the favorite, though, amongst the ladies. So it's going to be a lot of fun, Mike. Paige, what is her? Paige Bucher, I think is her name.
Yeah.
She's a lot better than I was giving her credit for. I seen her play the other day, Mike. She has 105 points in her last 3 games in the tournament. So maybe, just maybe, they could that could be their year. What can you say about UConn though? This team's always in it, no matter whether it's the guys, the gals. Mike, somebody's always in it.
Yeah, they're a powerhouse. They're a blue blood organization up there. If you want to win a championship there or in women's college basketball, you go to UConn. That's why all the UConn people in the WNBA want to give Caitlin Clark shit because she never won a championship. Well, you all went to UConn. You're more or less guaranteed one. You're guaranteed at least one. If you don't,
have you ever changed the terrible franchise?
Yeah,
that's an accomplishment.
Yeah. So if you go to UConn and you don't win one, there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Another thing about yesterday that got on my nerves with the April Fools is how many times have you seen something come up on a screen and it's April? Hey, Tom Brady just signed with the, which is funny the first 25 times, but all day long across the screen all day, that's what it was these April Fools jokes of people who were coming and what Aaron Rodgers had said and blah, 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 blah. Yinzer Joe, he says, did we get approved for the Pittsburgh Poltergeist basketball team yet? I tell you what, if we do, I'm going. I don't think it's possible, but if they do, I'm supporting them and I will be there. No two ways about it. Okay, I think Jen was talking about these names that Caleb's given to the pornos, things like that. Her and Tortilla. Why is that a bad name, Caleb? It's almost as bad as Nutting Ball 2, Stadium Gangbang. So they got
That's a great name. Yeah, I'm going to watch that one opening night. I am in line to go see Nutting Ball 2, Stadium Gangbang. Wearing my Bob Nothing shirt.
Look at that shameless plug. Look at that shameless
plug. Right, baby.
So I think that's about everything for me, man.
That's all I got too.
It's April 2nd. It's the new year, according to the Julian calendar, guys. If you still go by the Julian calendar, and I don't know if many do still at this point, being it's been about 600 years, 500 years, certainly, Mike. But Happy New Year's for the people that still do go by the Julian calendar of April 1st being the new year. Yeah, guys. Mike, the Pirates really only thing going on today. 110 start. They wrap up the series with the Rays today. Come home, have tomorrow off. Get the Yankees at home on Friday, Saturday, Sunday for the season opener. The home opener. I'm sorry, for the season, guys. So we got a lot of things going into the weekend once again with the basketball, baseball, and on top of that, guys, we think maybe possibly Aaron Rodgers can certainly make his announcement on Monday. As we were saying earlier in the show, but we just don't know. So we hope that you keep tuning in with us, hanging out.
Yep.
We certainly appreciate everyone. We really do. We thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us, checking us out. We appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do, guys. We wouldn't do it without you. Thank you so much. Thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. And everybody at home, whether you're just sitting, in your living room, taking a walk at the gym, maybe even grocery shop and get your earbuds. And who knows, whatever the case may be, we thank you too. Thank you, everybody, so much. You guys are awesome. A couple more here, and let's wrap things up. Let's see. Caleb says Nutting Ball 2 features an appearance of Omar Moreno. And then Tortilla Jackson, Nutting Ball 3, Curveball will star Antonio Brown. That I could see. Like, literally.
He needs the money. He needs the money.
Thank you, Tortilla. You too, my man. But I do want to say thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Mike, anything else, my man? Anything before we go? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Huh?
Get your Bob Nothing t-shirt.
Look at this guy. Look at him with this. You know what? I like it, man.
You give me a Tuesday off, this is what you get.
Well, here's the thing, Mike. If that shirt dated well, you know what I mean? It's still relevant today.
Like,
do we make that last season or the season before? I don't remember.
Last season. It was last season. I was just bored. Man, just get a silhouette outline of Bob Nutting and call it Bob Nothing.
There you go, everybody. But like I said, Mike, it still rings true. So it is still you could still look. Caleb says, "Have a great Thursday." Him and this Thursday.
Don't confuse me.
I know.
Please don't. I'm easily confused. I'm like a newborn baby giraffe.
Yeah, he really is. But I believe that's everything. Thank you so much, everybody. Yes. We'll be back tomorrow on Thursday, the real Thursday, at our regular time to go over all this and a lot more. Again, getting ready to head into this weekend. Lots of sports. Mike, did you see the Highmark Stadium where the Riveters and the Hounds play? They're getting new turf. It's black and gold striped. Did you see that?
I saw that, and I think that's was an April Fool's gag.
Oh, is it really? See, that's why I hate April Fools. And for two, I like it. I dug that.
I saw it too. I was like, "That's awesome." We're like, "Wait a sec, today's the first." It took me forever yesterday.
But was it? Was it April Fools? I mean,
I think it was an April Fool's thing.
Yeah. Oh, that looks so badass. It was really, the whole field was like striped in black and gold, which I guess you never really seen anything like that. So I guess it would be kind of weird. But
yeah.
Oh man, I hate that April Fools. All right, everybody. Thank you so much again. For Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio. Again, only one dummy in his window. I don't know what's going on. Maybe we'll see.
He's resting. He had a long road trip, man. He was out there.
Maybe we'll see Mike's better half later in the week. But for Mike in the Steelers Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two dumb Yinzers, everybody have a great day, and we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time. We hope to see you then. Have a great Wednesday, everybody. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.